A pediatric surgeon working in a hospital in southern Lebanon was interviewed recently after a night of missile attacks in the region. During the bombardment, the hospital lost electricity, and the staff had to move children into the corridors where the generators still worked. At one point, he found himself sitting on the floor, holding a frightened child while they waited for the power to return. Later, someone asked him what stayed with him most from that night. He said, "The children trusted us completely. In the middle of the fear, they just held our hands." Then he was asked another question. "What keeps you awake afterwards?" He paused and said, "The thought that I might not be able to protect them." Moments like that reveal something simple but deeply human. When life becomes uncertain, people instinctively look for someone they can trust. Palm Sunday carries that same mixture of hope and uncertainty. The Gospel shows Jesus entering Jerusalem while the crowds wave palm branches and spread their cloaks along the road, shouting Hosanna to the Son of David. It feels like a moment of triumph. Yet this celebration quickly gives way to the Passion narrative. The same liturgy that begins with palm branches soon leads us to the cross. Holy Week always holds these two realities together. One detail in the Gospel is easy to overlook: the cloaks spread on the road. In the time of Jesus, a cloak was not simply a garment, it was often a person's most important possession, something that protected them from the cold at night. To place it before someone was a sign of honor. The people recognize Jesus as a king, but the way he enters the city is unexpected. Kings usually rode horses, symbols of strength and military power. Jesus rides a donkey. The prophet Zechariah had spoken of such a king, one who would come in humility rather than force. That contrast becomes even more striking as the week unfolds. Today, the crowd spreads cloaks before Jesus. Later, his garments will be taken from him as he is led to the cross. The celebration at the gates of Jerusalem already carries the shadow of Good Friday. The readings today deepen that picture. Isaiah speaks of the servant who does not turn away from suffering. St. Paul describes Christ who emptied himself, taking the form of a servant. And the Passion story shows us how that self-giving love unfolds. There is betrayal and fear. One of the disciples reaches for a sword when Jesus is arrested, but Jesus stops him immediately and heals the wounded man. Even in that moment, he refuses the logic of violence. That part of the story feels painfully relevant today. In recent weeks, we have watched tensions rise again across the Middle East, involving Iran, Israel, the United States, and others in the region. Missiles, retaliation, and threats of wider conflict fill the news. Many people are living with fear and uncertainty. In a world where power is often measured by force, Palm Sunday presents a very different image of leadership. Jesus does not enter Jerusalem with an army. He comes in humility, He does not conquer through violence. He reveals a power rooted in love. The surgeon in Lebanon was asked one final question during that interview. What gives you hope in moments like that? He answered simply, even on the worst nights, people still choose to care for one another. That quiet truth lies at the heart of Holy Week. Jesus enters Jerusalem knowing where the road will lead. His journey towards the cross is not defeat, but a deliberate act of love. St. Paul calls it the self-emptying of Christ, God choosing to give everything rather than dominate. Palm Sunday challenges many of the ways our world measures success. We so often associate greatness with recognition, strength, or control. Yet the gospel points somewhere else. True strength is found in humility, and real greatness is revealed in love that gives itself for others. The crowd laid their cloaks before Jesus as he entered the city. Holy Week invites us to do something similar, not with garments, but with our lives. We place before Christ our pride, our fears, our desire to control everything, trusting that even in suffering and uncertainty, God does not abandon us. Instead, God walks with humanity through the darkness and shows us in the love of Christ what true power looks like. Amen.